Hey everyone, it's the Orange Helmet Guy here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. It's another beautiful day here in Southern California. I just finished my work day and out for a little ride to stretch my legs before the weekend starts, and a little bit of an impromptu video. Today I want to talk about motivation. We're gonna have a little bit of a therapy session today. We're gonna get some feelings out. We're gonna talk about a few things. So, hope you guys are here to share. Let's go. So a little background on me real quick. I started cycling about 6 years ago and was overweight. For me, the motivation was easy, and that was to lose weight. When I started riding with groups, I would get dropped all the time. My wife knows this. I used to come home and she'd ask how the ride was and be like, got dropped again, and she couldn't understand why I kept going on these group rides and getting dropped. You all have to start somewhere. But for me, weight loss and being able to stick with a group ride was pretty motivating. Going from getting dropped on some of the beginning rides and then helping pull the fast-paced rides and doing fondos and events was so gratifying, and for me that was great motivation. So a couple years ago, actually on July 3rd, 2021, I got into a pretty bad accident riding on PCH, which is kind of why I don't ride the coast anymore or ride with the big fast groups. It wasn't their fault. Let me put that out there. It was not their fault. It was my fault. I took the weight loss too far. We're not gonna get into the weight subject today. Not that deep of a therapy session. But after that accident, I found it really hard to stay motivated. And I think I'm still trying to find some motivation mentally to get back out there and to perform at the level that I used to be, because I'm not even close right now. It's very demoralizing when you go out to some of these climbs and feel like you put in a good effort, and I'm like 5, 10, 15 minutes off of my PR. So I believe there's a couple ways to find motivation. You have the things you can do for free, perceived motivation, and then you have the stuff you can buy, which I call accountable motivation. For me, personally, I find buying things doesn't have to be expensive at all, but buying things holds me accountable because I'm spending my own money on something. Well, I'm gonna pull over here in a minute and we'll talk a little bit more about what motivates you, what motivates me, and again, we're gonna get into it. We'll get a little therapy session going today. Stay tuned. So with motivation, I'm someone that always wants to try to be the best at whatever I do. Whatever it is, I always want to be the best. I strive to be the best. So at work, I try to be the best creative director, the best manager, the best boss that I can. When I do photo shoots, I try to be the best photographer. I try to get the best images. When I cook dinner for the wife, I always want it to be the best dinner possible. I always take a lot of pride into the presentation. It's kind of funny, we have a joke at home. I always make my plate look really good, and I prep my food a lot more than my wife does. You know, I could make the same meal and she kind of is just take it how it is, and it's good, but I always do these extra little things. So I think that's kind of funny. So motivation, I'm gonna bucket into a couple different categories because I think there's a couple of different ways to achieve that, and without getting too granular, I'm gonna focus on 2 ways to do that. Number 1 would be the free stuff. What can you do for free? And I think I call that more of a perceived motivation. And then the other thing would be purchasing. What can you buy to fuel your motivation? Both of these go hand in hand, and I don't think you could do one without the other. I think you need to have a little bit of that motivation on your own. And then I do think at some point you do need to start buying stuff to keep that motivation going. So let's talk about some ways to have free motivation or perceived motivation. Some of that could be setting up for an event and training for some type of goal. So whether that's a fondo or a race, whether that's on the road or the mountain bike, I think having a goal and working towards it is a great way for motivation without spending any money at all. Let's see, another free thing could be is like not only working toward an event like a fondo or a race, but maybe a life event. maybe there's a wedding that you have to go to, maybe there's a bathing suit that you want to fit in. So for me, again, that's free motivation. That's something that you're working towards. One of the other things I like to do after every ride is wipe my bike down, and then once a week I actually like to go in there a little bit more thoroughly. That's one of the ways that I stay motivated. Having a clean bike for me keeps me motivated. The more pride that you take in something, I believe, the more motivation that you're gonna have to want to get out and ride on it. Also, it's kind of it's an OCD thing. It's kind of a recurring tool that you guys can use to keep that motivation going, right? If you have a lot of pride in the look of your bike, then I think that you're gonna have a lot of pride to get out there and ride a little bit more and stay motivated to stay on the bike. Another way that you can stay motivated for free, and Strava has this on their app, is you can actually set your weekly cycling goals. You could set it by distance or by time. So for me, I think I have 120 miles a week is my weekly goal. So I like to work toward that and kind of see the bars fill up. You can also set that by year, so I set it annually as well. I think this year's goal is about 7,500 miles total that I want to ride. I'd love to hear your guys' goal, and if you guys use that, if you have a weekly goal or a yearly goal, put that in the comments below. Another way to stay motivated for free is using this, it's the fitness tab on the Strava app. So I'll show you mine. So this is what the fitness tab looks like, and you can see it's kind of a bar graph. If you guys don't have this, I think it's only available for premium members, but this is a really good way to stay motivated, but it's also a great way to feel defeated at the same time. You can see the peaks and the valleys here of my fitness. I use a power meter and a heart rate monitor, so I find this to be fairly accurate, but I think that's a great way to stay motivated. Is so if you see if you're kind of in a valley and you want to peak, you can kind of track that progress. But again, this one's tricky because when you think you're feeling really good, there's been a few times where I'll go out and make, man, I've had a great ride today, or maybe this week has felt exceptional, and then I pull up the fitness and it's like, nah. So that one's tricky. A couple of other things that you may do is, like, I love taking pictures, right? So going out there and taking pictures or doing videos. Maybe I'm having a crummy day at work and I don't feel great, and I think about, oh, I just want to go to the top of the climb and look at this view and get some really good pictures there. For me, that's a motivating factor. Clean your helmet straps. One of the things that I do weekly, especially after hot rides when I'm sweating, is I clean my helmet straps. Look at your helmet straps right now. I bet you guys have those white sweat stains on it. Clean your helmet straps. I like to fill up my sink with water and put the plunger in so the sink fills with water. Maybe I'll mix some OxyClean in there, and then I just dunk my helmet so the straps just sit in the water. I let it soak for 20 minutes, or maybe I'll go put it in the sink and then I'll go take a shower, and then by the time I'm done, all the sweat is off. That's how I keep my helmet nice and bright orange. All right, so free perceived motivation out of the way. I'm sure there's a lot more, but let's talk about now the other side of it, is the paid for motivation, or the self-sponsored motivation. So what are some of the things that you can buy to keep yourself motivated? And this one might be a little bit easier, and then you can also break this down. There's very expensive things you could buy, like a new bicycle, and then there's kind of the smaller things you can buy. So let's start with maybe some of the smaller things you could buy. New food. Food is kind of cheap, and I always like trying new things out on the bikes. Foods, gels, maybe it's a new type of bar that you want to try. So try with the food motivation, right? They're very low cost, so getting something new for whatever reason is like, oh, now I want to ride so I can eat this, so I can try this. So actually, Flow Formulas is in my bottles right now. That was something new that I got that I felt like it wanted to motivate me. I saw everyone else using it for training and for racing, and I was like, you know what? I want to try that. So even just that tool, that technique, nutrition for my bottles, encouraged me to go out and ride a little bit more. A few other smaller things you could buy to stay motivated. Just go quick fire real quick. Let's see, socks, new earphones. They make some pretty good inexpensive earphones. Small accessories for the bike. So for me, a new saddlebag could be good. Maybe it's a fresh pair of bottles, right? Some of you, I know a lot of you out there probably have like old crummy bottles. Pick up your bottles right now. If you guys are at home, if you're around your bottles, go to your bottles. If they have a bunch of scuffs and scratches on them, or the decals and logos are wiped off, order yourself some new bottles. New bar tape. It's a tactile feeling. So I think having just a touch of something new, again, go look at your bar tape. If it's all corroded and cruddy and you can see your bars through it, go grab yourself some new bar tape right now. Let's talk about some of the larger ticket items now that you could buy, and I think this one's easy. My wife remembers, I'll show a video here. She took this video of me riding a bike pretty much for the first time. For sure. Since I was probably maybe 9 or 10 years old. And then the first bike I got was called a Poseidon bike, which I don't know if they make anymore, but that bike was about $500, probably 25 pounds. But you know what, that really motivated me and kind of started my journey to where I'm at today. Obviously they cost a lot, but let's say a new wheel set, right? If you guys are on aluminum wheels, getting a set of carbon wheels, right, helps motivate you. Tires are kind of in the mid-range, right? It's about $160 for the pair. Get yourself a new pair of shoes. White shoes, I think white shoes always look the best personally, but you can get black or whatever you want. But if you get white, you got to go white on white, okay? You can't do white shoes and black socks, all right? It's got to be white on white. I have an oversized pulley wheel on here by Kogel. That for me was a motivating factor to get out there and be like, oh great, I want to actually see if this climbs better. I want to see how this feels on the flats. Do I really notice the difference? So all of that psychology, and I think motivation is all about psychology. What are the psychological things that you guys can do, whether it's free or purchased, to stay motivated? So I hope you guys enjoyed today's conversation, and I hope that you guys have through this video maybe found something to help motivate you. What I'd love for you guys to do, anyone that's watching, is maybe pick one thing that either you do now to stay motivated, or maybe something that you've learned or thought about through this video to stay motivated, and drop them in the comments below. Also, if you guys are going through something, like I mentioned, I went through an accident. If you guys are going through something that has taken your motivation away, let's hear about it. And for others, people that are looking at the comments, maybe we can all jump in, answer, and help one of you guys out. So please leave anything that you want in the comments. I really hope you enjoyed this video today. I really enjoyed having this conversation. For me, I was able to get out some of my feelings and my own thoughts about staying motivated, maybe some of the things that I forgot to stay motivated. So thank you all for helping me along. Let me share one of the things that I've done recently to stay motivated, and that would be this YouTube channel. I've really reignited my fuel and passion, blending creativity with what I like to do, which is cycling. So this YouTube channel, I'm bringing you guys content and videos like this, is my new motivating factor to get out there, ride a little bit more, get a little better fitness. I want to look better on the bike. I want to look better in these videos. So for me, that's a big motivating factor. Well, it's about that time. I'm off to go meet the wife and the puppy for some coffee. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, the Orange Helmet Guy, out.